So let's start with the Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about this a little bit before, but Joel lost 20 pounds.
Well, he had to get himself in better physical shape because he's got tremendous talent. Uh, but when you're injury prone, you have to add, one of the factors you have to ask yourself are you in your best physical condition? And the Sixers are only going to go as far as Ben and Joel take them. Hopefully Ben worked on his jump shot this summer. But if those two guys play up to their potential, the Sixers are going to be tough to beat.
Ben said something about how they're going to be a really defensive-minded team. How it's going to be
Yeah, that
defense
sounds
with
great in
championship.
theory, but you got to score. You can't stop everybody in the NBA. The other team got good players too, great players too. So yeah, they you hope they're good defensively, but they got to score. You can't just want to stop people. You have to score on the other end. And Ben has to improve his jump shot. That was his goal for the summer. I hope he accomplished it.
So if someone just mentions Philly to you, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Oh, it's a tough city. It's a tough city, man. I've been here since 1984, and they demand a lot. I love it, but they demand a lot. Philly's a tough city. You cannot take any shortcuts here. And if you don't take any shortcuts, they got nothing but love for you. But it's a tough city.
All right, so you famously said you're not a role model.
Mm-hmm.
So why come and do an event like this where you're going to come and speak in front of so many students?
Well, I do a lot of speaking, and then people ask me. I'm really proud of the role model commercial. When I made the commercial, it was obviously controversial, but I'd like to get a chance to explain what I meant. Speaking at a bunch of schools and different things, I was concerned that a lot of the young black kids thought they could only be successful through sports and entertainment. I wanted them to know they could be doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers, firemen, policemen, and things like that. So it's just a starting point for a conversation piece because I don't want these kids to listen. Everybody's not going to make it in a pro sport, but you can get your education, which is the most important thing.
What's someone you wish, or something you wish that someone came to Auburn when you were 18, 19 and said to you at an event like this?
Well, I wish that, great question. I wish that we had been better equipped academically because, yeah, I made it, but the other guys didn't. And that's the thing, what I tell these young kids, everybody's not going to play pro sports. Even at Alabama in football, Auburn in football, Ohio State, less than 1% of these guys are going to go on to the next level. These other young kids got to get their education so they can dictate their future.
Let's call him your coworker. He just put out a diss track against Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
And we're not going to talk about that, but
Yeah.
do you think that's do you think that kind of it's a new kind of relationship between media and analysts and players, or do you think he just...
No, I think that's just a lot of stupidity on social media. These kids, I'm anti-social media. I do no social media because I don't want to talk to these fools. And I'm not going to go back and forth with somebody who's insulted me. It's interesting. I was thinking that on our way over here, I saw that little 16-year-old kid down in Tennessee who killed himself because he was getting bullied online. And I felt just sadness that some losers felt the need to make this kid feel so bad that he killed himself. And Shaq is a grown man, and Damon is a hell of a player. But I'm anti-silliness. When people are going back and forth on social media, I think it's the stupidest thing in the world. That's why I don't do any. But like I say, the point I want to make was, like I say, this 16-year-old kid in Tennessee committed suicide this weekend because a couple of people were bullying him because he was gay. And I got nothing but love for my gay friends. That's bless them. And I just feel bad that this 16-year-old kid felt so bullied that he killed himself, and it really pisses me off.
So I'm not going to call out specific NBA players, but do you think they should dial it back with how much they're on social media?
I don't tell anybody what to do. I don't. I mean, I just don't think that's the way to do, because you don't tell people they're right or wrong. You can just disagree with them. I, listen, I just personally don't use social media. I think you've seen a lot recently where it's come back to bite guys pretty good. So I just think you have to be really careful, because we all got feelings, we all got ego, we all got pride, and sometimes you're having a bad day. You had a bad game, you had too much to drink, and if somebody insults you, it doesn't matter what they say to you. You're the famous one. That's when I think you have to really, really be careful. You can say anything you want to me, and it's not, and nobody cares. But if I say something to you and I'm famous, it's gonna be everywhere. That's the negative aspect of this thing when you're in the limelight. And I use this phrase all the time. It ain't right, it ain't wrong. That's just how it is. There's a double standard when you're in the limelight, and you just have to deal with it and accept it.
All right, so we're gonna have one last question. We're gonna wrap it up. So you're gonna be talking to a lot of kids tonight that want to be in sports media and just be around athletes. So, it's specifically as an athlete, what's something that you think people in the media need to know when communicating with athletes? Like, what's something to avoid?
That's a great question. Also, I think the main thing you have to realize, like, guys aren't trying to suck. Like, sometimes you just don't play well, and you already feel bad. So I don't think you have to jump on the bandwagon. You can say a guy played bad. I mean, that goes with the territory. But so now the problem you got all these idiots on talk shows all the time who have radio shows, and they're trying to get clickbait. So they're calling guys names and tell them how bad they suck and everything. You can tell a guy he played bad without telling him he sucked, he should look for another job, he's awful, and things like that. That's why I think in the media you have to be really careful.